Um, Coming up next is a very cool keynote with the title Leveraging Technologies to Tell Stories, Research and Innovation for Next Generation Immersive Content. And let me quickly tell you, it comes from an expert who is in charge of research and development at the Animationsinstitut of the Filmakademie in Baden-Württemberg. And you got to imagine, one of the major distinguishing characteristics of the Filmakademie Baden-Württemberg is the close collaboration with 3 other educational institutions on one campus, and one of them is the Filmakademie's acclaimed Animationsinstitut, which would be in English the Institute of Animation and Visual Effects. So in 2003, he joined the Filmakademie as supervisor of the research and development department at the Animationsinstitut. And in 2013, he received the honorary professorship of the Filmakademie Baden-Württemberg. And by the way, in addition to the technical research, he is the designated senior lecturer for the postgraduate technical director course at the Filmakademie. A lot of information. I informed myself. During this presentation, we will learn more about the evolution of animation from 2D to 3D and where it is headed. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, if you have questions, just leave them in the chat, and we're going to have a little Q&A session later on with the guy I am happy to announce right now. Welcome here at the AREA Award 2021, Professor Volker Helzle.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
For the kind introduction. It's a very special day today because, of course, of the AREA Award, but also because it's the 2nd birthday of my little daughter. So, I'd like to start off with giving you a quick introduction on our campus and Filmakademie in general. So. Let me just make sure that everything is working correctly here. Okay. All right. Yeah. So that's pictures from our beautiful campus, and Filmakademie is established in '91, and we are located in Ludwigsburg, which is north of Stuttgart in Germany. So. You can study about any course related to filmmaking. It could be directing, cinematography, or screenwriting, production, animation. If you study animation, then you come into the Animation Institute, and it was established in 2002, as mentioned earlier. Now, at a total of 500 students, and we have about 100 of those in animation. Filmakademie is also in charge of FMX, the conference on animation, effects, games, and immersive media. And this year's edition, FMX 21, will be held online from May 4th to May 6th. The topic today, this year, is Reimagine Tomorrow. So with that, I would like to continue with giving you a few thoughts on the topic of immersion from my point of view. So of course, there's been a massive hype on VR during the last years. We've seen a lot of headsets, we've seen a lot of very good content, but I thought it's a good point in time to look back. So how new and how novel are these ideas? And of course, if you look up some websites like here, Stereo 3D, you realize that there's a lot of headsets that have been around already during the mid-90s. So of course, there's been hypes on likable technologies. But let's go even further back. Let's take a look at panoramic paintings of the 19th century. So this here is a picture of the rotunda that's been built in 1800 by Robert Barker at Leicester Square in London. People were paying up to 3 shillings to visit this 17-meter high brick building and experience panoramic paintings of up to 250 square meters. And what I found very amusing is that it's been reported that some of the visitors were suffering under desorientation or fatigue while being immersed from these analog paintings. So that sounds familiar. But I think the interesting thing here is the concept of immersion, and that people are interested in experiencing it, and that it is so old. And I think it's a incredible time that we are in right now, even though we're suffering on this stupid pandemic. But you know, technology is so applicable. We have these extremely high quality and high performance hardware devices. We have sensors that are very precise. We can rely on software libraries that are extremely powerful. So it's never been easier to create interesting, immersive content than it has been today. And I think that's why, you know, it's a wonderful time to be at. Now let's go a bit more into what it is that we do in research and innovation at Film Academy. Our group is involved in multiple regional and European level projects. There's a strong link to animation, game and effects industry, and that's because our teaching structure at Film Academy is set up in a way that we bring in experts from the industry to talk about specific topics that are current in their day-to-day business. And that's why we have a strong link there. We also run this technical directing course, together with my colleagues. It's a course where usually students from computer science apply, and it is very technical. They engage in research as well, but also at the same time, a very creative position with excellent job opportunities once you graduated. We link our research work with practical projects, and in that aspect, I would like to share with you more information about virtual production, digital actors, a recent EU project named Source, and the VR project Being. So let's get into virtual production and start with this definition by three gentlemen from the Visual Effects Society as a collaborative and interactive digital filmmaking process, which begins with virtual design and digital asset development and continues in an interactive, nonlinear process throughout the production. Now, I think that is a great definition, though virtual production can come in a lot of different flavors, and I think there's a lot of aspects that could qualify for what's been referred to as virtual production. And I want to say this for maybe some of you who might have heard about it, but might not be very deep into this topic. The most interesting aspect of virtual production is that we can reduce or even eliminate to what we refer to as post-production. Now, if you're on a film set and you have digital elements, usually they're added in post-production. You shoot against green or blue, and then in the very end, these digital elements, they're added in the post-production. Now, virtual production is set up to change that so that you can interact with these elements directly on a set, which brings the incredible advantage that all creative departments of this film shoot capable of seeing what those digital assets are and how they interact with the rest of the scenery and the actors and everybody on set. Now, as you can see, there is a huge body of work at Film Academy related to virtual production. I'd like to point out Motherland and Dark Matter, which have been projects that we realized by the use of the Crytek engine, a specific build that was under the working title Cinebox, that was specifically built for use in film production. And then in 2013 to 2016, we were lucky that we were part of a large EU-funded project led by the Foundry called DreamSpace, and it was a field $4 million budget project, and that allowed us to really further investigate in that topic and build our own projects and prototypes. And one of that was or is VPET. VPET is an abbreviation for Virtual Production Editing Tools. It is a generic, real-time, and open source framework that can be integrated into any existing workflow. Its philosophy is that tools should adapt to artists and not artists to tools. And it consists of a simple interface to interact with digital elements of a scene in a virtual or augmented reality. So here you can see, for example, one of our film sets in one of our studios that's augmented by a digital element. Now, I mentioned in the beginning that it's this framework can be integrated into any existing workflow. And currently we're supporting Foundry Katana. We can work with offline USD files, with Unity, and just recently, one of our research engineers realized an extension for Unreal. And I'd like to show you more on that. So please start the first video for playback.
Hi, I'm Paulo Scatena, one of the new research engineers here at Animationsinstitut, and I've been working in the implementation of VPET for the Unreal Engine. Today we are at one of our studios, and behind me is a LED wall so we can test some of its functionalities on the big screen. VPET is a tool for editing your scene in real time. It has several features that makes collaboration and virtual production more accessible. It runs on mobile devices with an interactive, lightweight version of your environment. By touch or with joysticks, it's easy to transform and control your assets. It's also possible to simply point where you want your object to go, to quickly and intuitively customize your scene and check how elements are interacting together. Another feature is the ability to connect an object to your view, so you can physically move around and place that object where you want it, in a more practical way. VPET allows you to navigate your scene to better locate and select which assets you want to modify. When working with lights, for example, you can control their intensity, as well as their color. And switching between objects is easy, while staying in the same tool. You also have the ability to look through an asset, say a spotlight. You can change position and orientation in a way that feels more like operating a physical light. If you're working with multiple displays, finding assets can become challenging. With shortcuts for selection and transformation, VPET provides a unified place to have control over your scene, giving you a better perspective on where things are. Combining the Unreal Engine with VPET, creators can work together in a more immediate way. Our hope is that it helps your creations. For updates on VPET for Unreal, keep tuned on our social media channels and our GitHub repository.
Yes, so you can access VPET from this web resource here, and that's also where you go to get access to the client. So you've seen it in this video that we were very lucky that it was possible for us to get access to an LED wall setup, and we used that setup to investigate the use of LED panels over green or blue screen. And that was in fall last year. Initially, it was planned for March 2020, but then, of course, the pandemic happened and we had to reschedule. So a few informations about the LED wall setup. It was 7 by 4 meters with a 1.9 millimeter pixel pitch. We had 3 additional panels in front of the main stage, and with a higher pixel pitch and RE sky panel synchronized with DMX controls. And the 3 additional panels in front, they were tracked by additional markers on top by using an Optitech mocap system for that's also being used to track the main camera. And a central production system used Unreal with the display extension, but also Unity with the plugin for frosting calculation that our own engineers have developed. So you, in the beginning, the research team took about 2 weeks. So all in all, we had the system for 5 weeks. And in the beginning, it took us about 2 weeks to get used to everything, to set up everything, test. And after these 2 weeks, then a couple of student projects that qualified and showed us that they were capable of working with the system. They were using it for their test productions. And you've seen some of them in the pictures before with Carly Schall's project, for instance, that's from there as well. And after that, we also had a workshop for the students, which we usually do. It's a set extension workshop that we usually do for in front of a green screen, but this time we used the LED wall. So now please start video number 2, and it will give you an introduction and short overview of what happened during these 5 weeks in fall last year. Okay, I think I need to restart my screen share. Are we? Okay, I think. Hold on a second. Okay, next topic is digital actors, and hold on. Have a bit of a trouble with my system here. Okay, digital actors. Yes, I would like to, before I show something, I would like to mention that digital actors has been a massive area of research for a long time when it comes to creating digital faces believable for film, games, or other media. Now, there's also been a quite strong history at Film Academy in projects that were researching these topics. So even before my time, which has been 18 years ago. And what I would like to show you is a short film, one of 3 short films that we created as homage to Albert Einstein as a researcher and humanist. And with that, I would like to ask to play the 3rd video, please.
I am by heritage Jew, by citizenship Swiss, and by make-up I am by heritage Jew, by citizenship Swiss, and by make-up a human being. And only a human being, without any attachment to any nation or national entity whatsoever.
Let me quickly jump back in. So yeah, I'd like to quickly elaborate on the contribution in this work, which is first of all to advance on pipelining tools for digital actors and the creation for digital face rigs. So we've developed a rigging technique that we advanced over the years that allows us to quite efficiently set up face rigs for digital actors in a very short amount of time. Now, something that's very important to work for our work in general at Film Academy is that we are always looking for artist-driven workflow. So we need to combine creative heads that are capable of having creative access to, for instance, the facial expressions and emotion of such an actor. And of course, we wanted to show and promote a convincing digital actor with a limited project and time. Yeah, you can see here that there is a short overview of how long it took us to create this digital asset, 85 working days. And you've seen one of the 3 episodes, which all 3 together took 80 working days, which I think is a quite good amount of time. Now, what's great is that you can actually get access to this complete face rig and digital actor. It's released under Creative Commons. If you go to our website, it's there for download. And you can also find making of video that gives you a short breakdown. I wanted to show that next, but the video playback is somehow a challenge. So I skip that and come back to the next slide, and would like to pick up maybe on some people might ask, so yeah, great, but it sounds still like a lot of time and effort to do these things. So why not do some deep fakes and face swapping with deep neural networks, which I think is a valid question. And I would like to point out that for these techniques to work, what you would need is a tight and solid resource of reference photos from Albert Einstein, which actually don't exist. At least we, in our research with that project, only found very few images, most of them black and white, some are colored manually. It's even worse when you go into video, there's very little video. So that's one reason why these techniques might not work, but I also think that we've seen great results from that, from these AI approaches, but they are hardly controllable by an artist, and I think that's exactly what we need. For that reason, we at Animationsinstitut of Film Academy started an AI lab for animation and VFX, which together with Stuttgart Media University and companies from the region of Baden-Württemberg, especially I'd like to mention Matt Heitzen here, who we are working with very closely. We're looking into artificial intelligence and how we can use that in creative workflows and make these approaches work in pipelines that we're used to. The last project I would like to mention is the new project Source. It's an abbreviation for SMAT Asset Reuse in Creative Environments. It's a 3-year EU-funded project. It just finished in December last year, so we're wrapping this project up at the moment. You can see, again, Foundry in the consortium here, DNEC and Disney as commercial partners and other academic key partners. Now, the focus has been on asset discovery, reuse, and transformation by using artificial intelligence, semantic animation, and light fields from acquisition to creative use. And I would like to say a few things about light fields. So you can see that there's pictures of a light field rig, 8x8 cameras, so 64 cameras. That's been built by University of Saarland, and we've used it for the unfolding production and presented that at FMX already. So the 1.0 version is really has been around for some time, and it features a young German cellist, Isabel Geweiler, and we used it for a post-processing workflow in Nuke, where we could realize very shallow, physically impossible focus planes to show her solo play. And now in version 2.0, we are using a holographic display. It's a 15-inch looking glass here. And now the environment is completely digital, and we're using the light field data to position her in different depth. And with that, I would like to come to the last project slide. That's the project Being, a VR ride on the back of a bee that begins in a mystical forest and ends on a flower meadow. And it is designed for public short distance trains, S-Bahnen, as we know or call them. And the interesting thing here is that the idea is you get into an S-Bahn or a short distance train and you put on your headset, and then the physical movement of the train is linked to what you see, experience. And we do that by, again, the GPS coordinates and some smart algorithms. We've realized this as an example track from Ludwigsburg to Convestheim. And if you're around that area, give us a call and we'll send you the APK and we can give it a test drive. Otherwise, we'll just release the stereo version on our YouTube channel shortly. With that, I would conclude my presentation. Thank you for your attention, and I hope I was capable of giving you an idea how we try to spark and inspire our students by latest technology, how we prepare them to engage with these new technologies and have them as a central tool for production in their story worlds and in their universes. So with that, if we have the time, I'd be happy to answer questions if there are any.
Very much for this impressive keynote and presentation. To be honest,